Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Vintage Story. So we're picking back up not too long after last episode. I've basically just been doing a little bit of work during the night, and did a little bit more with roads, kind of getting some pathways ran around our farms here, and started plotting out a pathway that we're going to be using in a coming episode as we start moving into the pine forest and hopefully the location of our iron mine. That's what I'm hoping. It also is October now. This flax should come in, and this flax, then we should have plenty of fibers for the winter. Plus, that's going to give us some more animal feed. And I started running a foundation of chert cobble underneath this because I had some chert cobble lying around. I'm going to make some more and run the rest of that in a little bit. But what I would like to do is bring up this last little bit of this structure, get it covered up before winter hits. And then after we get that, we'll probably spend a little bit of time decorating, and we will probably spend a bit of time also doing a bit of work just out here, because right now I've got basically this area here that looks like a big jumbled dump in a lot of places like this and that, because I was trying to do a bit of focus on agriculture and get some things in place like our bees and stuff. But now we're pretty comfortable in terms of that, I think. So we are going to be doing a bit of work regarding that. We're also going to be eating some bush meat today. And we're going to be setting up ourselves an armor stand just really quick, because I don't see any reason for us to wear our armor while we're building and while we're working on the base, in all honesty. So let's just shift. Let's find him here. Shift right click to put our armor. If we don't, we would equip it, but we want to equip it to our armor stand. I think I've still got a lot of... I've got a bit of dry grass. I'm going to have to make some more for sure, but to get this roof put on, because it takes so much dried grass when it comes to doing roofing, but that's okay. Okay, so we're basically just going to bring this up just a little bit and then put a roof up top to kind of do a thatched top bit here. We also might get our chisel today as well, because at the moment it's just kind of flat with just the wood there. So we probably will try to get a chisel today as well. So anyways, I'm going to work on bringing this up. It's not going to be anything crazy, you know, it's just going to be a thatched roof up here. So I'll work on bringing this up, and then I will be back in a bit, maybe once we have a thatched roof on. But I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to have to go out and get some more dried grass. And possibly, let me see, how much walnut... I've actually still got a lot of walnut left. Let me go grab my saw. But anyways, I'll be back in a bit once I get this brought up, and hopefully some of the roof, I gotta fix that. Hopefully some of the roof put on as well. Okay, yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead. We're going to do just a little bit of smithing. We're going to go ahead and get 2 ingots going, because I've got to go harvest more grass. I've already used through my grass. I ran through a knife, and I'm like, do I really want to do this again? Since we're at a point now where we could definitely make a scythe without a whole lot of effort. And yeah, I think we're just going to push on for a scythe. And of course, we poured out this anvil last episode. We don't need it for this. Of course, our current anvil will be fine, but we're going to go ahead and pull this out. We'll set it right there. And we do have our pickaxe head as well. And I did pour out an axe, which I will probably make use of here shortly. All right, let's go ahead and grab one of these. And we are going to be making a scythe head. So let's go ahead. Scythe is actually super easy to make, and it's going to make grass harvesting so much easier. Also cattails, things like that, it'll be a whole lot easier for that. Part of me wants to go ahead and make a second one, right now, but I do have another ingot made up. There we go. There's our Scythe Head. I love how insanely stuck he is. And then let's throw this in here. We're going to make ourselves a copper chisel. Might as well go ahead and get this made, because we will probably at least start into using it today. And while we're doing some smithing, we might as well. There we go. Okay. Okay, so our scythe, we're going to go ahead and put that on a stick and get our copper scythe. And honestly, at this point, I may move to not using the club anymore and just using long blade. I could add... I'm going to go ahead and add an extra fuel just to make sure we get this heated up. Okay, this is hot enough. Let's go ahead... probably at this point, I'm kind of torn. I mean, a copper knife would be great. Copper scythe, but also copper shears. Because I feel like I'm always fighting with sticks. Yeah, let's go with copper shears real quick. We'll get a set of these as well. Now, right now, cattails, it'll be alright for cattails, but it'll be easier once we actually get like a proper cattail farm set up. Because as it stands right now, our cattails are pretty much all over the place. But there we go. There is our shears. And the shears, we can, of course, use those to break like leaves and stuff on trees a bit faster. I've got some riffs out tonight, so... There we go. But what we can use the scythe for is we can take it... Shoop. And we can just click and remove whole sections of grass at a time. A whole lot faster than breaking individual grass. And it's got pretty good durability. So we should be able to use it for quite a while. Even as a copper tool. Before we're going to run it out. So, and this will make doing our thatch roof so much faster. But like I said, our cattails are so spread out right now, it won't be as great for them because they're not, you know, in like a really dense area like dead grass is. And then with the shears, and we'll get into the chisel a little bit later, but we can take, and we're going to get more sticks, more seeds, that sort of stuff. And of course we can break these down a bit faster as well. So we got quite a bit of sticks off that single tree there. But alright, I'll be back again in just a bit. Okay, I ended up using most of October. Well, half of October. Getting the roof on there. It shouldn't have taken that long, but I did a bit of interior decorating and also went out and gathered some materials. I did run through our entire scythe. Putting the roof on, and then I still had to go out with knives. I could have made another scythe, but until I mine more copper, I don't really want to. But I've got everything organized, so this is going to be like where we come in and just dump stuff, you know. Over here, this is going to be like just decorating stuff, especially once we start getting like wallpapers and things like that. Over here, we have sand, smooth stone, gravel, our different soil types. We've got vines and rope. We have sticks. We actually have excess sticks because I've been running down my shears. I would have had more, but I used a bunch. And then over here, of course, this is all of our seeds. And I did set up some shelves, and I set up some tool racks and little things like that. Over here, I did go ahead and do labeled chests for these, just to kind of mix it up, and I used some labeled chests in there as well. Personally, I like these more, personally. As long as you can, you know, if they're in a convenient place to access them. But we do have some labeled chests here for things like our quartz and nuggets and our ores. Over here we have charcoal, saltpeter, salt and saltpeter is what that is. Sulfur, borax, lime. Of course, I don't have a lot of these things, but and I haven't decided what I'm gonna put in that, but we'll put something in there. And our aged crate that we got last episode, I ended up putting chert in that. Though those crates are going to get moved up here, and I'm probably going to make more crates, but we're going to have like a little attic area up here for kind of crate storage. And then back in here, we have peat, stone bits and bobs, miscellaneous loose stones, cobblestone, flint, logs, planks, loose boards, wooden bits and bobs, and glass. Some of this is kind of future-proofing. Now, granted, we will end up making denser storage for a lot of this stuff, but for like a starter kind of storage area and kind of workspace, because this is kind of serving as our starter home temporarily, this will work. And then we have ceramic blocks, thatch. This will be kind of project chest if we're going to be doing like a certain project, and things that I'm using actively at that time. Tools, blue clay and fire clay, pathing stuff, pottery. And we've got some of our tools up here. And then over here we have like our fat, our gears and scrap, temporal gears, cloth, honeycombs and candles, leather, bones, feathers. So that's basically a quick little tour. Of course, I've still got a ton of decorating that needs to be done, and I gotta do the walls and ceiling and all that good stuff. Right now we just got trapdoor windows. So I'll show you the outside, but right now it is nighttime, and I want to check. I've got more wood burning, another 3x3x2 space down here of charcoal being made. Starting to get into I lit all the rest of them. For some reason, I never lit that one. Okay, one second. And I did harvest a little bit more wood, but then I turned around and used it all for making some more charcoal. But we're going to be getting a lot of wood in the coming days, because we're going to be cutting down the majority of a forest. And at that point, well, we actually got some in. But you can see the outside temperature is starting to drop. We're down to 4 degrees. So I'm hoping all this flax hurries up and comes in, but since this is coming in, we should be fine. Because flax tends to turn over pretty quickly. Like as soon as you start getting some, if you plant it all at the same time, generally it all kind of comes in pretty rapidly. So, but once the sun comes up, I'll show you what the roof looks like from the outside. It's not anything super fancy, because I don't envision a warehouse having a really fancy roof. It's basically just thatch at the moment. So also at this point, I think we're going to go ahead and convert all of this into flax twine, and then let's go ahead and get ourselves some linen, since it is starting to get cold out. But I was starting to look, and all of our clothes are in terrible condition, so we'll go ahead and just left click that onto there. So I got this one, and this one's 50% worn. I'll try to get it up to 100%, at least for the main pieces that are going to give us a max warmth of 2, 1, maybe that one. I mean, this one's only 0.3 degrees Celsius. It could make a small difference, like these 4, but I'd like to get some better clothes. But I don't know that we're going to be able to pull that off this year. Also, something I wanted to show you, if you're building, something that I like to do is, if I'm taking a second to like sit and think about something or whatever, what I will generally do is, this is a perfect time to do like mass napping, especially since I'm still using some stone tools. So what I'll do is I'll just go through and set all of these to, like for example, I'm going to make up a bunch more knives. I've actually gotten, you could say, a bunch of knife blades, axe heads, shovel heads, and some hoe heads. But what I usually do is I'll just kind of get right in here, and I'll open up like this screen, for example, and then just kind of go through and quickly nap all of these. And it's a perfect project to do like during the night, if you're not like doing something else. Or if you're sitting and thinking about, you know, a build or something like that, it's a perfect time to just do a little bit of napping if you're still using stone tools. And I tend to do it with a menu open, like if I'm doing this mass napping, because it just makes it a little bit easier, because you're not having to like turn your character and stuff. And of course you can move these little like menu screens, but I usually don't. I kind of like where they're at. Alright, so we have a lot of knives ready to go. And we're going to be keeping kind of a close eye on our bees, because with the outside temperature dropping here pretty soon, all of our bee stuff is going to freeze. It's like 0 degrees Celsius. And I think that's when crops stop being able to be grown. So we'll try to make sure we've got all of our bee produce at least as close as possible before the temperature does drop to where the bees are not active anymore. So, but if we pop out, it's light enough now. That's all I've done so far. We're going to be adding some detail up the side and stuff, but basically just a thatch roof. Nothing crazy fancy on that. I did add a bit of wood there, but if we pop up here, I can show you a little bit closer here, and we step outside, you can see there's a little bit of wood right there, and I just basically ran a little border of wood just to kind of break up, because there was so much thatch, bringing it there to the middle, just to kind of break that up a little bit. But yeah, just kind of a basic, simple thatch roof. And it should also be mentioned that when it comes to repairing clothing, you can use, for example, like flax twine. Like we could use this on, what's my worst piece? Well, actually, I don't really want to waste it, because it's such a waste to do it. But you can use flax twine. It's only going to be 10%, whereas if you used 4 flax twine to make a piece of linen, that's 50%. So it is worth stockpiling that until you can make the linen to get your stuff repaired. But I like to repair my clothes right before winter, because, of course, with the temperature dropping, our body temperature is going to be going down, and we want to make sure that we stay as warm as we possibly can. Now, ideally, we would have some warm clothes for winter, but we don't have that at present, so we're going to be probably a little on the chilly side this winter, but I think we'll be okay. Because as long as we don't get out and get like soaking wet, I mean, we'll have to kind of plan around the weather just to some degree, but there's, you know, projects that we can do if the weather's bad or whatever. But I think we should be all right. Oh, and also I did go mine more blue clay, so we have a bunch more blue clay. Because we were down to about 30 something in that chest. Of course, we got a little bit over in the bee area, but we were starting to get low. Okay, so let's go ahead. Since that's on, I do want to add the decoration. I don't know if we want to start messing with the chisel today, or at least try to break ground on another project. I'm kind of leaning towards another project, maybe, because I feel like going ahead and starting with another structure right now. Because chiseling, honestly, is a really great activity for when the weather's bad and it's cold out during the winter. I don't know, we might do some chiseling in a little bit, but I think I'd like to go ahead and at least start setting up another project. By the way, this is coal. I don't remember if I ever marked it, but there is coal, a surface layer of coal there, but I'm not in a big rush for it, because it's not that important to us right now. We're going to go ahead and get a lot of these reeds out of the way, because we're going to be setting up our reed farm structure right here by the water's edge, kind of on the water just a little bit. Now, granted, of course, we don't necessarily have to have a structure for it, but we're going to build one. I was debating between if I wanted to start setting this up, or start adding some walls and some decorations outside of our base, or start setting up the smith, or start working on roads that are going to go over to the iron area, and hopefully what's going to be the resin area as well. But I kind of think I want to get started on this today. That's peeled back enough, and I think we're going to use this little area here for at least our first reed farm. We may have to expand later on. Certain things we will probably end up expanding, like that's like the cellar that we've got. We're probably going to end up adding another room to it, and we'll end up adding more like warehouses and things. But and I'm actually probably going to have to chop some wood. That tree right there would be great, but I'm actually planning on leaving that tree. See, I love the oak or the ebony. Aged would be great too, but I'll tell you what, we're just going to use some of the local wood types. See what we can come across. Let me go ahead and grab I'm just going to use stone axes. I've got a copper one out there, but I'm saving that for when we actually start into this project. But I think I'm going to chop some wood out here. Oh, we've actually got... all these turnips came in. That's actually really, really nice. Because that's a bunch of turnips for us. So we got 20. Yeah, I actually think I want to do the majority of the structure out of oak. Of course, I had a lot of oak, but then I've used it. So I tell you what, I might... that one forest behind Copper Mountain, I know has a lot of oak. So I think I'm going to head out there. And in that case, I'm going to take the copper axe with us. And that way, hopefully, we can just load up on a big batch of oak again. I know there's some oak over there, but I don't think it's, like, super dense like it is behind Copper Mountain. And I think it'll just be a little bit quicker to go out behind Copper Mountain to gather our oak. Oh, wow. We actually have snow on this end of Copper Mountain. It means winter is fast approaching. It is fast approaching. Right now it's the 7th of October. So it's definitely not going to be terribly long. Oh, wait a second. Right up here we have larch. Larch planks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, let's take ourselves some larch. Okay, I ran out all my shears. I only got 2 larch seeds. And then let's continue on. See about getting our hands on at least a little bit of oak. Okay, we're actually over by the oak tree that we cut down. I mean, this was forever ago, if you recall. There's actually still some oak around it here. This one right here. There's probably oak up inside of it. I was actually hoping to come across this one, in fact, because I've already chopped off all the leaves and everything. And if you recall, we filled up our bags the last time we were out here. Boom. We're going to have full bags again. And if I have space... I actually killed a wolf right... yeah, I think I'll have space. I might see about getting at least the hide and the fat off of it. I don't really care about the bush meat, but... yeah, I think that's it. There we go. We got lots of wood again. Alright, where did I leave you? Oh, where did I leave it? It was like right here. Because it chased me over to right here. I didn't think it was still following me. But I wasn't going to bother harvesting it if I didn't have space. Where did you go? Oh, here we go. It was in the grass. I didn't see it. But we'll at least take the maple seed. I'll take the hide. Tell you what, I'm just going to dump this knife. Because it has just about had it anyways. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to make the trek home. So we got larch wood and we got oak wood aplenty. And we should have enough of both for what I have in mind. But I am going to once again have to farm a bunch of dead grass at some point to put the roof on it. But I'm quite well versed at this point in chopping dead grass. I do feel like running a road back over there would be good too. And I'm kind of glad that I went back there because originally I was just going to go chop oak in the nearby forest. I'd like to start collecting shells at some point, but I decided to go out there because I knew there was at least that one big tree that we had left. And I knew it would have a bunch of wood, like, really quickly. It was kind of worth the run. I was actually cutting it a little bit close on food. I was thinking that oak area was closer than it ended up being. We're still at 4 degrees. Let me go dump this off. I need to get my fields. As you can tell, the temperature's starting to drop, and I'm like, gotta hurry up and get these fields emptied out. Okay, I think this one, yeah, this one is already emptied, so we just have to get this one, and it looks like everything's done now, so that's great. That one's not. Yeah, we were cutting it. We were cutting it a little bit close on that flax. I know, like, ugh. Because usually towards the end of October, sometimes November, it kind of depends on where you're set up at. But you kind of want to have everything kind of put up at that point. Oh yeah, I still got dirt up there. I'll have to clean that up. That was my building blocks. It's like freezing rain here. The snow will be here soon enough. Okay, there's us a bit more charcoal. Another 110. Starting to work on stockpiling charcoal, but once we start chopping down some of the trees over there to clear, we're probably going to be making a bunch of charcoal. Oh, and my flax came in perfect. So our fields are all completely fallow now, and they will remain that way until the spring. But come spring, I'm planning on having at least one more field in place. Maybe two. We'll see. Okay, I thought I had hit record, but I didn't. I'm terrible about that on here. For some reason, you can see the weather is starting to kill off some of these wild plants. I was trying to get these carrots grown. I did get one grown, but trying to get these carrots grown before the cold killed them off. But I've been running the foundation for this. So what I'm doing is I brought it up. These are just slabs, and we're going to have supports kind of come down the bottom, which we'll put those in a little bit later. And I've got walnut around the edge with actually our leftover maple rough-hewn fences from over there. And then I'm doing large slabs for the floor on the inside and the outside. And then we'll bring this out, and I think we're going to have a little sitting area and have the roof kind of overhang the sitting area a little bit and bring this out just a little bit more. But that way we can kind of sit out here, and there'll be this reed farm. You know, the building's not going to have any purpose necessarily related to the reeds, but maybe we'll store the reeds in here, and maybe we'll use them in here. But beyond that, it's just going to be a building in the middle of the farm, basically. So it's going to kind of sit here, and then we'll kind of bring reeds up through this to a certain degree. I've got to run a bridge or a segment of bridges across from around in here. Well, actually, I could probably do it here. And then have the reeds kind of run up. Yeah, that's probably going to be good. So I'm going with kind of sort of a shallow walkway. It kind of comes out to be about 2 blocks. But it's using these slab walls and the fences to add a little bit additional space there. And then we'll have the front kind of come out. The roof kind of overhang a little bit in the front. Then we'll bring some support pillars. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh, these are done. Come on. But yeah, I think this will work for the foundation. So at this point, I'm just going to bring up the walls for this. And then we can start starting to put on the roof. I don't know that we'll get it all done today, but we'll bring the walls up. I'm doing the walls in oak. I'm probably going to have to make a new saw here in just a moment. Because this saw has just about had it, but that should be fine. Alright, I'm just putting the finishing touches on a saw blade for us. There we go. Just dump that into there. And I did go ahead and smelt it up. I did 5 ingots at once, so I got, because I was actually out of copper ingots. I thought I had one more, but I guess I had used it. But I did go ahead and get some other stuff poured out. Now, I wanted to pop you guys over here. I'm about to have to cut a bunch of grass because I'm out of thatch again, of course. But I've started running. I ran this lower wall up, which is going to be as high as it goes for most of it. But we are going to add a second floor to this, I think, and have it kind of come out. But we're going to do sort of an arched roof for this building, I think. And I brought this out enough so that our supports can kind of just plug into sort of the bottom of the thatch there, and we're going to be bringing out these little lip sections that come out. We're going to be running the roof out there as well, kind of curve it. But yeah, at this point I've got to cut a lot of grass. I was debating about using that ingot to make a scythe. It sounds great, but I don't have, I think that was really all my copper. I know I do have a couple places where I could go easily mine it, which I may end up having to do here soon. But I'm going to work on getting the roof ran out, and then we'll bring up those side bits as well. And yeah, and I'll be back in a bit. I just wanted to pop you guys in to show you I actually had a visitor. As I was working on my roof, I had a visitor stop by. He was chucking stones at me, and I guess he found my little staircase and just climbed his way on up. We actually have our first bits of snow on this roof. I don't see any on that roof over there, but we do have our first bits of snow here. Oh, and at this point I'm actually starting to shiver. You'll notice kind of the effect there, and you'll notice that my hunger is dropping. That's because our body temperature, we're now soaking wet because of all the snow, and it started getting cold out. Our body temperature has went down to 34 degrees Celsius. Basically, if it drops, yeah, you can actually see the ice kind of frosting my vision, so we probably need to deal with this really, really quick. So what we're going to do, there's a couple ways that we can go about dealing with this. First up, it's about time that we switch out our lantern. We'll still use our lantern, but like on occasion, but we're going to switch over to a torch. That's going to raise our body temperature at least a little bit. It might take a second to kick in. Also, I do need to finish repairing my stuff. It's not going to make a huge difference, but it will help us out a little bit in raising our body temperature. Like I said, we don't have warm clothing just yet. Fire pits, of course, are going to help. I need to get dry at this point, because that's going to help out a lot. And at this point, it might be beneficial for me to wait for the snow to stop. If we had some warmer clothing, that would help, but unfortunately, I do not. I'm going to repair that. I'm also going to repair that, just 50% for right now. That may be okay. And at the bare minimum, we do need to have our clothes at least repaired. Now, that being said, you don't have to just stay like next to the fire the whole time, because it does take a little while before the effects of cold do kick in. But you'll kind of notice that shivering at first. And that's when you kind of know, okay, I need to go either get near a fire or something. I do need to get the chimney set up here. So we have a proper place to burn, to run our fire within the house. But we'll try to get that set up here fairly soon. But for right now, this is an enclosed space. It's honestly seeming like the upper area, it could be because it's so big. It's seeming like that's not really enclosed at the moment, because it is a fairly large space, especially without the second floor put on yet. But if we just hang out down here, if nothing else, it will get our temperature up to 37 degrees. And then we can kind of go back out and do a little bit more work. But like I said, if we set up a fire pit, we burn some firewood, that's probably what I will do. Take some firewood over there and set up a fire pit over where we're working, because I'm spending a lot of time up on the roof at the moment, just in the snow. So I'm quite exposed to the rain up there at the moment. But I think the majority of what we would want to kind of keep us warm, like as far as like coats and things like that, we're either going to need to get into leatherworking, or we're going to need to get them from traders. I know sometimes certain traders will have kind of some warm clothing. That's just something we didn't get around to, and it's not really a big deal. It just means this winter we'll kind of have to hang out a little bit more. But next year we are going to be getting into leatherworking, because that's going to open up quite a bit for us. But at the moment, we're going to have to rely on fire pits, and just carrying the torch in the offhand, it does help a lot. So I don't plan on jumping into any water anytime soon, so that should be fine. But that's alright. I'm about to be going out and gathering more grass. I've got a little bit of thatch left, but I know I'm going to end up needing it. But I did go ahead and started running part of what's going to be the second floor. I've got to cut out for where we're going to have the stairs or the ladder. I don't know if we're going to do stairs on this one or a ladder. Probably a ladder, because it's just going to be like an upstairs storage space. But I don't know. I'm going to give it some thought, but probably a ladder for this building as well. All right, but I'm just about to break my 8th knife. There we go. And you can see that my temperature, it's went down a little bit. It's actually starting to drop quicker now. The outside temperature was 2 degrees Celsius, but it's dropped just a little bit. So You know, I'll probably need to spend a little bit of time warming up, but that's what we have firewood for. And there we go. You can see that our body temperature actually shot up 37.1, 37.2, just kind of hanging out near this fire. And as long as we make sure and kind of come sit down by a fire, just one log usually will do the trick. But just make sure and sit down by the fire every few hours. Just kind of keep an eye on our body temperature. Then we can work throughout the day and during the night and stuff like that. Even if it's snowing, even if we're soaking wet. Like I said, next year it'll probably be a whole lot easier. But this first year we'll kind of have to hang out a little bit near the fire. But like I said, 37 degrees, that's kind of the sweet spot. That's where you want to make sure and stay above that. But you can see the fire got rid of our soaking wet status. Of course, it's still snowing, so we're going to get wet again as soon as we go out, but that's okay. Alright, I just ran through the last of our knives that we had made up, which was like 30-something knives, I think. But I think, because I've got this end done, we're going to poke some holes in it up at the top here in just a moment, once we finish getting the roof put in. But all I've got left is just to do this little end here. And the roof will actually be completely put on, so I don't actually have too much left at this point to finish getting the roof put on. So, and the weather hasn't been too bad. I mean, it's been -1 degrees, but it hasn't been raining, so you can see I've been staying at like a constant 37.8. Like when we're not soaking wet, it's not too bad, but it's really just whenever the snow gets us that our temperature tends to drop off pretty quick, because being soaking wet, it's not really ideal in the colder months. Of course, we're not in the dead of winter yet, so we'll have to wait and see how well we handle that. But yeah, I'm going to finish getting this roof put on, and then I will be back in just a little bit. Alright, so I got a little seating area, and you can see I kind of covered it. I didn't cover it all the way back. It goes to right here. I actually think we're just going to use the rough hewn, because I like these posts. I was thinking, well, we'll probably end up just chiseling some posts, but I actually like these posts, and plus they fit our fences, and I think they'll actually just work out best to just go with these and bring these down. And we'll probably bring them here and here as well, I think. Yeah, for the back. And of course we still have to shape up underneath the thatch, but we'll get to that. We don't even have that done on our warehouse yet, so. And then we've got to do the second floor and the whole walls on these ends. But what I think I would like to do, let's pop up. It's 9 across. Let's go to the middle, and let's actually break. Yeah, let's break this layer of thatch, I think. Let me see. Yeah, we'll break that layer of thatch on both sides. Okay, because I think we're going to put some little trapdoor windows up there. Let me go grab some. Alright, so we'll go ahead and put in trapdoors. I don't think I want them like that. I think I want them the other way. So we'll put them in right here. And there. Okay. And then underneath that, I think we're going to have oak. There we go, just to kind of seal that off. So we'll have little windows up there like that. Because if we shifted that one over and put in another one, or even just, I don't know, might do it too. I don't know, I'll have to give it some thought, but I do think we'll have windows up there. And then at this point, we need to come over and start. We got to start putting in the upper floor. So I'm going to start working on that and bringing this wall up. And then probably sealing up this bottom part. And then I will be back here in just a little bit. Okay, it has been a bit. You can actually see that it is mid-November. So we're watching the months pass at the moment. But we've got it kind of to where we want it right now. I will say, just like that building over there, the outside very, very barren at the moment. Like painfully barren. This one, every time I run by it, I'm just like, ooh, shield my eyes, because it's just a big box right now. So we've got to get on some exterior decorating to kind of make things look nice. Plus, we got to shape up the bottom of the roof a little bit. Kind of just connect all this in. But if we go around the outside, around here, you can see all of this is just kind of fenced in with this really rough. I just love the rough hewn fence. Like, I love it so much more than the regular fence. It just has more character, I think. And so I wanted to be able to use that on this structure. So this of course, once again, is our cattail farm. It has nothing to do with cattails, but it's going to be in the cattail farm, and we're going to maybe store some cattails in it, and maybe some knives and scythes and stuff. I don't know. But from the side, I ran this up so it kind of like plugs in there, because I like the way that looks. Those like rickety boards kind of nailed up there. And if we head inside, this part, instead of doing a trapdoor, I did a fence on this little end. But if we head inside, right now we have a very empty bottom floor. I decided to do walnut slabs for the ceiling, which these are placed, halfway up. And then the floor up here and the ceiling both are all slabs, but right around the ladder I did do planks, just to kind of fill all that in. But up here we can step out onto our balconies. With the arched roof and the balconies, it kind of reminds me of, what was that one building that we built on that one series where we had the big A-frame house, but I can't remember. But we can also open this up and have a small window to kind of look through. I don't know, I'm actually kind of, I was wanting panes, but the more I'm having these trapdoors, the more I'm loving them, because like I can battle wolves through them, I can open them and look out. Over there, I use it to get onto the roof, They're actually super handy to use. And they do kind of fit these buildings, probably more than panes are going to. Over here, we just have a mirrored image of... I gotta get up there and work on that. Soon. One day at a time on here. And then over here, we have this little area. Originally, I wasn't going to put anything in here. I actually had the wall built, but then I was like, I could at least allow us to enter it, because we can place things on here. And I actually had to bunker down here because I had a rift. I was up here working, and I don't know, I was up here and it turned night, and I was just up here working. I didn't notice that there was a rift right there. And I hadn't put the windows down on the middle parts down there. And anyways, I had lurkers getting in here. Drifters. I keep calling them lurkers. If I say lurkers, just know that I mean drifters. But I actually had to put a trap door over this because I had them climbing the ladder while I was up here, and I was like, oh no, because I was just being attacked by like this like chain of drifters just coming up ever so often. So I did have to bunker down here for a little bit while I was building, but then I just ran out once I was done. So but yeah, so that is where we're at the moment with that one. So I think I'm pretty happy with it, considering we just started it and just kind of threw it together. And then from over here, and I just wanted a little place where we could, we'll probably put like some seats, a table and stuff out here. But I just wanted a nice little place where we could overlook this little, this little river area, because we're going to have our cattails all ran down through here. And just to make it feel like we actually set up something productive this episode, let's pop over and grab our measly amount of cattails that we have on hand. But we'll be able to, at this point, go around to some of those like water areas and start cleaning those up. I'm going to clean up these that are up here and kind of start moving them over to here. But what we can do, I don't want to jump in the deep water. Honestly, I'll probably end up filling in the deep water down through here. But then, of course, what we can do is we can shift right click. Oh, that put out my torch because I'm technically in the water. I didn't think about that. But we can place our reeds. And we can go as thick as we want to. I'm going to do... I mean, for optimal setup, of course, we would just make it completely dense with cattails, but we're not going to. We're going to make it thick with cattails, but not fill in every single block, because then it just looks ugly. But we'll have a nice little cattail area that's going to kind of span down through here a ways. Basically to our bridges. And then it'll probably continue on past the bridge. But we'll probably spend most of our time farming, you know, in those areas. I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. We're going to get into the chisel one day, I promise. But I don't think today is that day. Because we're already running a bit on time. In the last few episodes, I've went way over. So trying to kind of ease back. It's already over, but trying to ease back at least a little bit and not go completely over. But we're going to be running some supports up through here. It's actually going to be fairly easy chisel work for that. And then we'll have to do some decoration on the outside. But now it's wrapping up point for this episode. We have farmed so much grass today. It's actually been over the span of a couple days here, but as far as real life goes. But we have farmed a lot of grass. But I think it paid off in the end. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.